Hey, Stevie here, and I want to talk a little bit about Dissidia and accessibility today. For those who are unaware, I am a disabled gamer who is forced to play video games with my feet due to the fact that I suffer from a disability called TAR syndrome. This forces me to play the game with my feet rather than my hands. So I thought it would be interesting to talk about Dissidia and my experience with it as a disabled gamer, and possibly linked to some information from Swearing Its and give some tips on how I feel they could improve the game on a little bit of the accessibility side of things. So as I said, I'm a disabled gamer and I have to play games with my feet. So what problems does this cause? So let's start with that. The main problem is I can't access certain buttons on the controller. So I can't hit R2 or L2, for example. So therefore I'm more reliant on having aspects of the game on the front facing buttons, which has always been a plus for Dissidia NT. The only thing that's ever really been on back facing buttons is block and target switching, which wasn't that important because you're only ever really target switching between the core, EX core, and the other player in Dissidia Duodecim and the original Dissidia. With NT, there's more target switching, and naturally, because it's a more complicated game, there's more buttons. But I think Square actually done a really good job. Like, the fact that they was able to get dash onto one button when it was originally two in the original Dissidia is a plus. The fact that block is now its own dedicated button and dodge is its own dedicated button, compared to do a Decim and Dissidia, which again was a two button combination, has made the game easier to play. But then this comes into my first problem, and this is specifically coming with the Japanese open beta. There is no option for re-button configuration. Well, there is, but you can only move buttons around in specific areas. For example, you can't move triangle to R1, for example. You can only move triangle to either square, X or O. And for a disabled gamer that would like certain buttons to be in different places, this isn't help. Now, yes, it is alleviated a little bit thanks to the fact that PS4 does have the ability to change buttons on the fly, and I will be doing a little bit of a tutorial for that for Dissidia NT's launch, or at some point today. But this is still besides the point. I feel that doing this within the PS4's main settings sort of I think it makes the button eating problem that happens in laggy matches a little bit worse, because I'm assuming the PlayStation 4's got to do a little bit of extra processing. But yeah, I feel like I have the issue worse than others because I reconfigure buttons round to make the game accessible for me. For people who want to know specifics, I move my dash to triangle, I move my block and dodge to square, I have my HP moved to L1, I have my EX attacks moved to R1, and I have target switching switched from R2 and L2 to L3 and R3, just so you know. So I think Square Enix, if you do make changes to the game, you need to improve the options that we have in game a little bit. It's a good start. It's better than Duodecim and Dissidia because there was no way to change the buttons in them games. So it's an improvement, but it is something that still would be nice if it was changed a little bit. Moving on. The other thing that I could recommend, I think this would be an option that could be switched on or off within the settings, is the ability to toggle dash on and off. Now hear me out here. Like, number one, I think this should very much be an optional feature. It shouldn't be built into the game. It should be an option that you should be able to switch on or off, because I think for competitive aspects it's not good. You need to be able to control when you can dash, when you can stop, etc. But I think for disabled gamers or more casual players, I think the option to, rather than having to hold dash, maybe have the option to toggle it on and off as an optional option would be pretty damn cool. And for me, again, it would make the game a little bit easier. You could rectify aspects as well, like for example, it automatically toggles off once you do a block, or if you want you do a bravery attack, etc. So it doesn't carry on dashing after you inputted an attack, it will stop, and then you have to re-press triangle to reinitiate the dash. But obviously this would make the game a little bit easier for me, but again, I feel that should be an optional option. Now, another thing I think's when it's done right as well is the fact that if you block and you start blocking an attack and the attack continues and you let go of the block button, unlike in Smash where you're going to take an attack to the face, you will still block as long as that attack is still going. So you actually only need to hold block until the first hit is. Then you can actually let go of block and you will still block the entire string of attack. This is very welcome, and some other fighting games do this as well. But this is very welcome because there's been a few times where I've accidentally let go of block during a block and I'm like, oh crap. And that's when I noticed that Dissidia actually still keeps the block going. So that is another very welcome inclusion. Thank you very much. And obviously there's the standard stuff like there's no colorblind options, etc. But that's that's standard stuff. But that's for me as a general disabled gamer. I feel where Dissidia could improve on its accessibility aspects when it comes for me as a disabled gamer. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed this little video and a little insight of my views of Dissidia's control as a disabled gamer who plays games a little differently. I would highly recommend watch the Final Fantasy XIV playing example if you want to see exactly how I play games, because I'm probably not going to specifically record one for Dissidia NT because it's it's hard to do, and B, it's difficult to set up. So I would highly recommend watching that video. But other than that, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little video and I will see you in the next one. See you later.